Hello, and another very warm welcome to the allotment here, my shed again. And it's an overcast day out there today. Whilst the welcome is warm, it isn't so warm outside. Today we're going to be featuring on Jesus telling the disciples the story of the vine and the branches. Whilst I have no vines here, I have fruit bushes, and we can talk about the principles of cutting those back, and also what I'm expecting to achieve by that cutting back. So today we're going to be concentrating on the fruit area and showing the signs of life that are coming through in that particular area. So if I just sweep round now, and I'll show you the strawberry bed here, which really is looking half dead, frankly, but that will improve once we get moving. There are small signs of life here, the green, the leaves, and they'll clear away this dead stuff, and they'll benefit for it. So moving on now to the raspberry area. This front area here that I'm showing is the summer raspberries, and we can see here some of the signs of shoots and buds that are coming out now, and that will be producing the leaves and the flowers for the fruit later on in the year. And last year we had a really abundant crop. As I'm sure I've said before, at the back of the allotment here we have the 4 fruit trees, and these are starting to really show good signs of bud. This pear tree here is really looking like it really wants to burst into life fully now, and hopefully that will happen over the next short while. This is a blackcurrant area, and this particular blackcurrant bush is showing wonderful signs of growth, much stronger than last week, and it just shows how things really develop well given a short space of time. This is consistent along all of the blackcurrants, and again, we didn't have a good crop last year, but I'm hoping for a much better one this year. So this morning, as I've already introduced, we're going to be looking at pruning the fruit area here. As I said, we have no vines here, but we have gooseberry bushes and we've got blackcurrant bushes. And the principles of pruning are pretty much the same as with the vine. When we were in Spain once with some friends, we had the privilege of seeing an expert pruning a vine. It was just an amazing experience to see him do that. But the principles are the same, because when you're pruning, what you're trying to do is to get rid of all dead wood, all diseased wood, and all wood that's growing the wrong way, with the idea of getting an open-centered bush which allows the free flow of air and allows access for taking the fruit at the end of the day. So that's the principle here, and we'll now move on to doing some of the pruning that I need to do on some of these young bushes. I'm seeing inward growing branch there, which we'll snip off. I'm seeing a branch here which is crossing over. Really don't want them crossing over at all, so I'm going to cut that back to a point just there, which will allow the shoots that are lower down to develop rather better. The rest of that seems to be in decent shape. Perhaps we can take that one out there, and I'll just lay those down to collect them later on. The rest I think is okay. So that's the principle here, and by doing this we're going to get a plant that's going to develop much better fruit because of this pruning. The fruit will ripen better because the sun is going to have access to the plant, certainly the centre of the plant, and the fruit will be much better indeed. Now I shall move on now to do the rest of these. I've shown you the principles here, and I think that probably is time for us to leave this now and let me get on with my work, I think.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes to make it bear more fruit. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me you can do nothing. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you, so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete.
I'm talking to you from beneath one of our apple trees. We've got a couple in the garden, and it's one that we've been pruning a little bit recently, so I thought it was an appropriate place to talk to you about this way that Jesus refers to pruning. Now he calls himself the true vine, and his Father, which is his way of talking about the Creator God, as a pruner, chopping off the branches and the dead wood and the diseased wood in Jesus, and making Jesus as fruitful and as healthy as possible, just like Roy was showing us with his fruit trees earlier. Now, I've been thinking about how this last year, for many of us, has been a time of pruning, whether by choice or not. We've all been chopped and changed. There were these things that we aren't doing that we were. And maybe we've had sensible and good reflections about our workplace, our work life, or about travel, or the way that we engage with each other, the health service, or looking out for each other. Hopefully we've had some sensible reflections and healthy, different ways of thinking about our lives in those terms. But much more than these kind of behavioural, moral changes, Jesus talks about abiding in him, as himself as the true vine, almost like the big trunk, and we as the branches that come off. And it's an encouragement from him to all of us to stay connected, to stay healthy, to receive the sap and the nourishment and the goodness, so that we can live lives that are fruitful, that bring goodness and joy and delight and taste and nutrition in all sorts of metaphorical ways to other people. But not just for others, not just so that we stay connected with him, but, as he says, so that our joy may be complete.